Hello and welcome to Terrence and Roy at the Movies. We've just seen Season 7, Episode 6 of Game of Thrones. What did you think of that thing that we saw with our eyes, not with our hands?
How do you see something with your hands?
Abe Sapien and Hellboy? You ever seen Hellboy with Abe Sapien? You know?
Or you're just like a blind guy who's like...
Yeah, that could be it. You Braille? You see Braille with your hands? There you go. See Braille with your hands.
Yes, so this is a very much anticipated TV show episode because this is the one right before the season finale. Mm-hmm. Going right into it, this one's supposed to be the big one of the week. This is supposed to be the big one of the series.
Blockbuster.
So we had a lot to see here. A lot happened.
Yeah.
But right off the bat, we see Jon Snow and his. People have been calling it his crew or his
Magnificent Six,
his Suicide Squad.
His Hateful Eight, his Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah, Suicide Squad going north of the wall.
North of the wall.
Yeah. So you see them walking.
Walking.
They're traveling super fast.
How fast are they traveling?
Able to walk north of the wall, which it had taken them, what? Half a season to walk north of the wall with horses.
Yeah.
And now they're able to instant appear in everywhere, and it's crazy fast.
Fair disclaimer: you're already trying to suspend disbelief because this is a show with dragons and the living dead, which is fine, and you suspend your disbelief for that. But if you expect any amount of geography or physics or timing or anything at all to make any sense in the show, even a little bit, no, it's over. It's all gone.
Yeah, not in season 7. Not in this season.
No, it's over.
So they get going, and then they come across a little group of people, and then they're like, why are they alone? And then they go down there, they kill, they kill one of the generals.
They do.
Before that, they get attacked by a wild bear. The wild bear kills a couple of people who is pretty much unknown.
He kills nameless wildlings.
And then, so then at that point, they capture one of the people, and then they send Gentry back to run towards the wall, which only takes 5 minutes for him to magically get to the wall from running full speed.
It does.
Run, Forrest, run.
They were very close. Technically, they were at Eastwatch, so Eastwatch, which is closer to them than Castle Black is on the wall, but still far enough away that it shouldn't have taken them. Yeah, it should have taken a lot longer. So then what happens? They they run into a whole army. They do,
and they take a wrong turn.
Mm-hmm. Before this, I kind of thought everyone was going to die because everybody was having these individual scenes of moments of clarity. Like Jon's like, "Here's your sword back, Jorah. It was your dad's, and if you were ever honorable again, he wanted you to have it." And Jorah's like, "That's okay. You keep it. I'm not going to need it." And that seemed very much like a moment where I was like, "Oh, Jorah's going to die." And there's a lot of those where they're just they had a lot of these moments along the way, these road trip moments where people were bonding, and it seemed like they were bonding because they were about to die next. So,
yeah.
But
so they meet the army of the undead. They rush towards the middle.
Yes.
And now it's a waiting game.
Yeah.
So
now we play the waiting game.
But I know there was something that kind of bothered you in that scene.
There was something that kind of bothered me. I could see it was going to happen from a mile off the way they were setting it up, but they step onto this ice, and the first thing that bothers me is as soon as the 7 of them step onto this ice, it immediately cracks, and I'm like, this is north of the wall. This is the land that's always winter. That's some thin ice, okay? It's always negative 20 Celsius here, okay?
I think, I was fine with that. I think what they were trying to just get across is that they stepped on ice, so this is pretty much going to be the thing that protects them.
Yes.
And so you see that actually happens. They run towards the middle. Hundreds and thousands of undead soldiers start chasing after them.
It's true.
And they start breaking through the ice.
And I am totally okay. When 7 of them step on it, I'm not okay with the ice breaking. When tens of thousands of them step on it, I'm okay with it breaking. However, it also breaks in a perfect circle around where the main characters are. So the main characters are temporarily safe. It's very, very strange.
Yeah, well,
Like,
it would have broken like an oval or some kind of shape.
Yeah, it was just too clean. Like, they didn't have to fight. Like, it wasn't like a couple of whites got over and they had to fight off a couple and then they were by themselves. They were like floating on an iceberg. It was literally like, this is broken exactly where we need it to be safe.
Well, I was able to overlook that. That was absolutely okay. And then the very next scene, you know, they're safe on the island. Then the very next scene is Arya and Sansa back in Winterfell.
Winterfell.
And now Arya is like is now threatening Sansa and saying, you know,
You betrayed us.
You betrayed us. You betrayed the whole family. What was your thought there?
What were you doing? I mean, it was expected. You know, it played right into Baelish's plan. Because people seem to be super underestimating Baelish. It's like, Baelish doesn't have a plan. Baelish's plan isn't going to work. And if this episode proved anything, is that Baelish's plan is working to perfection.
See. At this point, I think people underestimated Baelish in season 2 and 3. I think people expected this. I didn't really expect that to be Arya's reaction. I thought that was kind of unbelievable. You know,
Yeah, she's been gone a long time. I mean, I thought that was strong, but I didn't think it was completely out of character, which Arya at various points was in this episode.
Yeah, but why bring up father has been dead? Ned Stark has been dead.
Yeah, it's nostalgia.
For years now in this season.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the blame Sansa as the person who killed... As the person who killed Ned Stark, I thought that was stupid.
I think it was a PTSD thing, you know. I think Arya was so young that she took it so personally she couldn't let go. She still had it. She still had the image from there. She was like, I was by the statue, don't you remember? It's like a flashback.
But she was there. She seen Sansa on the stage. She seen it.
But that's the thing. The way she described it, it seemed like she had this weird delusion, this weird kid delusion, where she thought Sansa was like happy to be there, okay to be there, because she was going to marry Joffrey and be the queen. Because she didn't say like, because Sansa, well, her face, when Ned gets beheaded, her face is like totally broken up and she's torn and she like screams. And
she doesn't see that because if you watch the episode again, Arya gets pulled away.
I know, but that's my point though. My point is when Arya's saying that, she doesn't say anything even remotely like that, whether or not she had a chance to. All she says is, I saw you standing there with your hair looking so... She pulled a Bran. She was like, I creepily saw you at this horrible moment and saw how happy you were and how beautiful you were.
It's so I'm gonna like that. Yeah, honestly, that part of the episode really bugged me. But let's
where it went, I'm with you totally. It went because it progressed from there and it went totally off the rails. So.
That part really bugged me. Mm-hmm. And then so then it flashes back and you see Gendry falls hopelessly right before the wall. No, Gendry, no.
And we're like, who's going to save Gendry? And it's like, well, I had 3 bets. I mean, my first bet really was that one of them was going to be Stannis. Stannis was going to show up and save him. Or we thought maybe Benjen would show up and save him. But I was really counting on Stannis. Like, he falls down in the snow and
Stannis has been dead.
No, Stannis is fine.
Nobody's imagining Stannis coming back and surviving any of this.
No, Stannis is fine. He's fine. He's perfectly fine. He's alright. Benjen's alive. Benjen's alive as a white, so Stannis could be alive as a positive white.
But he died before under the wall near near Winterfell. So
it could have been north of there. Whites have gotten south of the wall before.
So to go on from there, so he gets, he's like sending ravens.
Yeah.
And this is about where, honestly, this is when this episode really started kind of make me personally upset. And you can tell me if you think the same thing.
Okay.
But, let's send the raven down. Then they quickly flash to Dany and Tyrion sitting there like, what should we do? Okay, producers, okay, writers of the story. If you don't want to do this anymore, give it up.
Yeah.
Please, because the speed at which this is going is becoming beyond annoying.
David and Dan are sick of making the show, and I hate to say it because I don't want to put it all on them and how incredibly selfish they're being, but it is ruining the show at certain points. It is. certain elements of it at least.
Like, I'm okay with them, you know, like with Danny being like, okay, I'm reading the letter, but to think that they're, you know, that the Suicide Squad, Jon Snow and all of them are sitting up north for 24 hours, and suddenly Gendry has enough time to run to the wall, send a letter, Raven flies, they read the letter, they hop on the dragons, and they fly north to save the day. All, you know, all within 24 hours before they could all freeze to die.
How fast was that Raven flying? They're at Eastwatch at the wall. Dragonstone's pretty far south.
Tyrion's debating, like, don't go, my queen.
Well, like I said, no logic, no physics, no geography, nothing matters anymore. You just kind of have to accept it. You have to go with it if you really want to.
So I went with it, but it really took away from this episode. And
earlier I was being pretty negative about all that physics stuff on the ice and everything. I will say that wasn't how I felt about the earlier part of the episode necessarily, because I was really also already high from all the Barrett conversation, the Jorah conversation, all my favorite characters talking to each other. It was great with Jon and everybody. So and the Hound was there, and I was very happy about all those conversations they had earlier in the episode. So it was good. It was positive then.
You see, so you switch there. And Tyrion pretty much calls out Danny. Let's kind of go back for being like, "Hey, I know you want to go save Jon Snow. Because I see the way Jon Snow looks at you. I see the way you look at Jon Snow. Oh, a little love interest there."
I feel like this has become a little too fan fiction-y. Like it's almost to the point where they're taking two dolls and they're like kiss. You know, it's almost like when you get two friends who you really want to get together, and you're like, "You guys like each other, don't you?" And they're like, "No, we don't really know each other." Like, but you like each other, don't you?
You know what it is? It's because it's so forced.
Yeah.
It's because they did not build enough time, or at least leave enough there for them to actually have moments of where it actually says, "Oh, this makes common sense. This is why you two like each other." No, it's like, wham! You guys like each other. It's only been an episode. You guys only known each other for like an hour, and now the dragons are gonna fly north in like 20 minutes.
He's very attractive, isn't he? Yeah. She's very pretty, isn't she? Yeah. Well, you should be together forever as king and queen. That's how the world works.
So Danny flies north, and then, so if Danny decides to fly north, then it flashes back, and guess what?
What?
The ice is no longer frozen, Mr. Krabs.
Oh my God. Wow. It's like,
I mean, it is frozen.
It is frozen. The water is no longer unfrozen. It has become frozen again, because it's in the land of always winter, where things freeze a lot. I don't know if you got that yet. It's very frozen up there.
And then, what? Thanos is dead.
Thoros, yeah. Not Thanos, the Marvel, Avengers villain. No, Thoros, the priest. He dies. Real nice. Real nice. He gets attacked by the zombie vampire white bear earlier in the episode, and they think he's going to be okay for a second because Beric does amazing Westeros medicine and cauterizes the wounds with the flaming blade.
Yeah, but he succumbs to the cold, which I'm surprised more of them did not.
Yeah, he dies overnight.
And then they realize, oh snap, the ground is actually frozen again. Now they can kind of come after us, which is still kind of shocking because towards the end they're surrounded by the undead, and the ice is rock solid at that point.
Mm-hmm. Like at first, the whites are very careful. They're like one at a time, single file, make sure the ice doesn't break again. But then by the end, it's just all out war, and 10,000 of them are on the ice again, and the ice is fine.
Can I be honest?
No.
I was a little disappointed that more of them did not die.
Yeah, I was too.
It was like unnamed spearmen, unnamed wildlings.
A lot of the times they turned around and had this moment where they're like, "Thank God we brought nameless wildlings on this mission, so not named characters could die."
I get it, but at this point, I was okay with one of the main characters dying.
I expected Thoros to die, which he did, and I had also actually really expected Tormund to die. As much as I really didn't want it to happen, didn't want to believe it, I expected Jorah to die too, but neither he nor...
I didn't really want Tormund to die. He's
I didn't want him to, I expected him to.
He's a fan favorite now, but like at this point, I'm like, okay, I would have been okay with it.
Well, you're facing 10,000 whites at this point.
Somebody should have died. And like, I'm shocked that these 10,000 whites have not come up with have not invented bow and arrows.
Yeah, well, it's very hard for them. When the nervous system breaks down and you're a reanimated zombie corpse, it's very, very hard for you to have accuracy, you know, with such hand-eye coordination things.
So that ends up happening. So who comes saves the day?
Stannis?
No. Much hotter than Stannis.
Nobody is hotter than Stannis.
Dany with her 3 dragons.
True. The terrible queen, as opposed to the one true king, Stannis. No, but yeah, so Dany comes and the dragons are there and she's like, oh, you seem to be made of ice, I have fire.
Vicaris.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. It's a song of ice and fire. Oh, twist ending.
Yeah. And the dragons are doing some serious damage. Serious damage.
Artillery.
And Dany's like, oh my one true love, Jon Snow, come out.
Yeah.
And Jon Snow's like, I'm gonna be stupid and I'm gonna fight 10 more undead.
Jon has gone
for no apparent reason.
He's gone full on gauntlet mode where he's like, I will take on all 10,000 of these right now, one by one, bring them on. I will just charge through all of them. It's gonna be great. And everybody's like, Jon, that's so stupid.
And then the Night King was like, thank you.
Yeah, pretty much. Thank you for being an idiot and not getting on the dragon when you had the chance.
And then the Night King ends up slaying one of the dragons.
Yeah, pretty much. This is a big episode for people and or things dying that shouldn't have, if anybody who had basic common sense would get on a mount at the proper time.
Yes, they should have all been able to get out of there.
They should have got on the mount and...
But at the same time, I felt like it was kind of forced, but they also needed to kill a dragon for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
It's the only way they could actually get through the enchanted wall.
Probably, yeah.
So I was okay with it, but I'm not in the way. Like I'd rather would have Jon Snow been trapped in them trying to save Jon Snow, and then that's the reason why the dragon's dead.
I'm not gonna lie, for a second when Jon Snow went below the water, I was like, they're gonna take the dragon on a deep sea diving expedition to find Jon Snow. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a submarine voyage, but with a dragon.
Yes, I don't, so it kind of goes to that scene. They fly away and they say, hey, Jon Snow's below the ice. He's dead, obviously.
Obviously.
And then at that point, I'm kind of being like, I actually hope he's dead because they're ruining the show, because it goes beyond belief that he would come back out of a frozen ice water and with his sword and be able to survive.
I didn't hope he was dead, but I believed that he could be. Like, I didn't think... I part of me really thought that he couldn't be. He obviously couldn't.
He couldn't be, but tell me that scene did not bother you.
That's the thing. Like, from like a larger perspective, like Game of Thrones lore, he obviously couldn't be. But in that scene, at the moment where it was happening, I was like, he could be. In my mind.
Or he should be. So that happens, and then he's only saved by the one and only last saving moment. Stannis. Benjen Stark.
Benjen Stark, cold hands, riding a moose. He's not riding a moose. They couldn't afford the moose.
No. They got a real horse this time. They couldn't do the moose.
No, they couldn't do the moose.
Just like they can no longer do Ghosts Going North with them anymore.
Very, very hard to train a moose for the show.
So Benjen Stark comes, saves Jon Snow,
and then makes the stupidest decision anyone's ever made in the history of film.
And just in enough time to tell Jon Snow, "Oh, Benjen, you're still alive." "Yes, I am still alive. Let's have a full dialogue." And then be like, "Oh, there's not enough time for me to be saved with you."
Benjen, get on the horse. I can't, Jon. These zombies are only 50 feet away from me, and I can't take the 2 seconds it would take me to get on the back of this horse.
Just like it would have only took Jon Snow 2 seconds to get on the dragon.
People have real problems with this series.
So Benjen Stark, first of all, rides through a whole army of undead to get to Jon Snow.
Yeah.
And then when he gets to Jon Snow, says, "Oh, I can't go with you," only to be taken out by 2 wimpy freaking undead soldiers.
Benjen gets taken down immediately. He survived north of the wall for years and years and years, and he takes out 2 whites before he goes down. 2 of them. Only 2 of them. Why? Why did he go out like that?
It was his time.
He made
It was his time.
He made the stupidest decision, and then he didn't even get the heroic kill like 100 people before he died. He killed 2 of them.
We were running out of time. We had to keep these episodes.
We gotta get rid of this character.
We gotta keep these episodes 112 minutes.
People will ask where he is and what he's doing if he's still alive.
So that ends up happening, and then then it flashes back to Danny waiting.
Yeah, Danny.
For the impossible to happen.
Danny's standing there on the wall looking for John, and I'm sitting there going like, first of all, she doesn't know he's alive.
Really?
Second of all, even if he was alive, which he could believe against hope, she would have to believe he was walking and probably crawling all the way back to Eastwatch. So we got him crawling all the way back to... Apparently he's crawling at, like, Gendry or above speeds if you think he's going to get there. And he gets there at the last possible second before they're going to leave, which was only possible because he happens to be on a horse.
Oh my god, he makes it. So let's go with that.
Yeah.
He makes it, instead of them flying the dragons to Dragonstone, let's put him in a boat. And then Danny sees he's been stabbed.
Yes, he has.
Maybe there's something to the Fork Lord.
He just shot a man. He did it on purpose. It's not really relevant, but it is a Charles dance line, so it's tangentially related to Game of Thrones.
And then it flashes to the most awkward scene in Games of Thrones history.
Danny and Jon staring into each other's eyes, not realizing when they're about to have relations that they're actually aunt and nephew.
Yes, that is awkward, but I was talking about another scene.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that in before we go to the next scene. I also think Jon wanted to get that in before we go to the next scene.
Yes. Well, true. At least the good thing of it is Danny can't have any kids, so what's the harm?
I know, right? That's a true point. That's a true point. You can't have any Joffreys because it's impossible. So that's a plus.
So
the scene, the horrible scene. Go on.
Oh yeah, the scene is just horrible.
Yes.
So Sansa is now walking through. Who knows who room it is because they don't really build it up at all.
All the rooms look so similar. When she walked into the room, I thought she was in Baelish's room. Particularly because she takes the same path in the room that Arya takes when Arya's in Baelish's room in the last episode.
I'm pretty sure I thought it was Baelish's room as well until we reviewed it again just to be sure that it wasn't.
That wouldn't have made any sense for it to be Baelish's room the way the scene played out, but
what does she find?
Faces.
Who am I? No one.
Who am I? I'm your uncle who works at a watch factory. Stand around all day making faces.
So
that's a Mary Poppins joke.
So honestly, this scene was awkwardly timed.
It was
Arya comes in and was like, "I caught you," and since it's like, well, I don't care where you just caught me. Why do you have faces underneath your bed?
Why do you have these faces of people that you cut off on your...
Like, this is like the creepiest thing ever. And I think Sansa realizes at that moment that Arya's freaking off her rockers.
Yeah. Apparently she is. She starts to act very, very out of character. She has a psychic Bran-esque moment. I'm
about to say, everybody in the Starks. If you used to like the Starks, oh my god, they're all... Oh, you know, true. They all are out of character.
Yeah.
But at this point, so I'm gonna tell you my theory. I almost don't think that's Arya at all. I almost think, to be completely honest, I really think that's Peter Baelish.
He's had a long-standing theory that Baelish is a faceless man, and I thought when they walked in the room, I thought it was Baelish's room. I thought that totally was like huge ammo for him. But then I realized that it wouldn't make any sense. First of all, it wasn't Baelish's room because Sansa obviously thought she was in Arya's room, so it wasn't her room.
But it doesn't.
But it could still theoretically have been Baelish. Because Arya was acting so out of character.
And plus, Arya hands the Valyrian stare to Sansa, and it's just creepy. I don't understand.
The first thing they show in the room is Baelish's dagger, which Arya has.
I don't understand the motivation behind the scene.
To be fair, this wouldn't be the first time the showrunners have horribly mangled someone's character season 5 Stannis.
I really don't understand the motivation behind the scene.
Season 5 sounds like that.
Because like if that's the motivation for the scene, don't you think Arya would not take the the tact of I'm just gonna threaten you? And since it's like I'm trying to talk logically, like what is going on?
Yeah, Arya's position is basically, yeah, you're in here. You know, I could kill you if I wanted to, right? And it's like, what? What? I know you're angry, but what?
Not true. Now you just went to I'll just kill you.
Not even just I could kill you. I could kill you and wear your face, right? Huh? If I wanted to. That'd be cool, right?
What? And then awkwardly hands the knife back.
Yeah.
And then just walks away like she's a little badass.
Yeah.
Let's just say it was weird.
It was very
weird.
very strange.
And very forced. Please, you could have taken that scene out.
Yeah.
Personally.
But I don't know. I mean, we saw. It couldn't be like Arya's like gone forever. So it couldn't be like Baelish killed her and took over because we saw like Arya and Baelish together in the last episode. So
that's true. I guess that's a good point. I didn't really think Baelish had killed Arya, but I guess that's how would Baelish get Arya's fate. I just think I don't know. It was just so out of character. It threw me for an absolute loop. It
was so out of character. Well, like I said, not the first time things have been out of character since they got past where the books are,
And then
Sansa's been out of character before.
I just hope the books do it completely different.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the adaptation that the TV show's doing, but if trust me, the books are way better. And if you don't think that, comment below. Let us know.
Yeah, no, George is taking the exact opposite perspective of David and Dan. David and Dan are like, we've worked on the show for 6 years. We're tired of it. We don't want to make this show anymore. George is like, I've been writing these books for 30 years. And maybe I'll take 30 more to write the next 2.
And isn't he on his deathbed too?
He's not on his deathbed. He's 70.
Okay.
He could still live another 20 years, potentially.
I was wrong there. Yeah. But, so then the final scene, which I was actually going to go back to, is... It's Dany and Jon Snow. They have the little connection, and then they're pulling the dragon out of the ice.
Yeah.
With chains, but they don't have arrows.
No, they don't have arrows, but they have chains.
Metal chains.
Yes,
steel
metal.
Chains.
Metal. Yes. Hard metal. Yes. Heavy metal.
And then they end up turning the dragon.
They make some very, very good political arguments. They're like, come over and be with the ice people, because the ice people, we got chains.
And candy.
You like chains, right? And the dragon's like, I like chains. Chains and dragons, very metal. And and so the dragon decides to join their side, allegiance, free will of his own accord.
So, if you ask me, personally, I think this is actually the weakest episode of this season. Personally.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know. I mean,
the Ed Sheeran cameo was pretty painful.
I don't think this is the episode that I've enjoyed the least. I do think this episode is arguably the most inconsistent. Because there's a lot of things I really liked in this episode, and a ton of things that really didn't make sense.
It took away from it, though.
Like, when Beric was talking to Jon, I was staring at Beric's face, and I was like, this is all I want from this show forever.
But, even when the dragons came to save... them, like, they're like basically surrounded by 100 undead, and then the dragons are like, let me burn all the undead, and then you see Jon Snow fighting, and then magically there's like no corpse there at all.
It's true. That's very true. You make a valid point. There are a lot of real... I'm serious. They're sick of making the show, and they're cutting a lot of corners.
I was like, okay. And it's true. And the ice is not fragile enough for 100,000 undead to break it.
It's only fragile enough for it to break the first time, not the second time.
And it's not fragile enough for a full-grown dragon to come down on, even though it's on a little bit of the rock.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot unbelievable there.
Yeah, the dragon lands on it, the dragon's fine.
Let's just hope next episode is better.
Let's hope. I have a feeling. Well, the scenes, did you have feelings on the scenes from the next episode?
Yes.
What were your feelings on the next time on Game of Thrones feelings?
I just thought it was also kind of just stupid. for them to bring all their armies south.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, let's all sit together and just sing Kumbaya instead of just killing Cersei.
Yeah.
And just taking Jaime and be like, Jaime, we had to kill Cersei because she is cray.
Well, I totally agree with you. They show like the Unsullied coming south and everything. I'm just like, this is how you're gonna do this? You're gonna have this meeting with everybody's armies in the same place at once? That's a terrible idea.
Like I'm almost just expecting the Unsullied and like the whole army there just get sneak attacked.
But you know what I think? There's this scene where there's this kind of like table, like podium sort of area, this stage. There's like a stage, and there's 3 tents around it. And the 3 tents are obviously for the 3 parties, Jon, Dany, and Cersei. And they're all going to say, well, why do they all have tents around this stage? Is it because they're going to watch some sort of competition? Is it because Cersei's going to throw down a gauntlet? Is Cersei going to be like, I'll join you, but only if your champion can beat our champion, and my champion is Gregor Clegane the Mountain? And Jon is like, that's very, very convenient because we have Clegane Bowl get hype.
It could be.
Just putting that out there. That's how it shows aerial shot of like the stage with the 3 tents around. I'm like, this looks like a tourney. That's what it looks like.
It could be.
It must be Clegane Bowl. They gotta get Clegane Bowl in. That's important. It's important to me, damn it.
So let us know what you thought about this episode. Comment, subscribe, like us.
Yes.
Share the video
Please do. Yes. And we'll see you next time.
on Terrence and Roy at the movies.
At the movies.